could read her lips saying, well, the parties please announce their appearances. So I did. And I said, and I can't hear everybody. I've got to log out. And so I closed down and came back in and I had no problem. I don't know what it was the other day.
That is weird.
Hello, Judge. Hello, Missy.
Hello.
We have sent, and I just talked to my client. I think the plan is, he'll be on.
Okay. I'm watching for him.
Okay. Deb, could you step back here? I wonder if I shouldn't have you call Jace. I just got off the line with him.
Okay.
But it's 346-4658.
And I'm showing we still have a minute. There he is. He's here.
Okay, he's here, Deb.
Remember to wait for Missy.
Jace.
Yeah.
Please. Your hat, Jace.
Sorry.
Okay.
I can't see anything right now.
Oh, really?
Can you hear us?
I can hear you, but I can't see anything.
We can see you.
Okay. Well, it's
You
waiting.
want to try to log back in? Missy had some problems when she first came on.
Yeah, I can. I'll try.
See if that helps.
Okay.
How are you folks in Norton doing with the COVID?
Well, pretty good. I just stay in my office and go home. So
We're really having an outbreak, to me anyway, especially in Smith County.
Gosh, does Osborne have a lot of cases?
Well, we don't get as much of a report on it, but I think so. I think we've got maybe up to 90 total.
Wow.
Yes.
There you go.
Jace, can you see us?
Yep.
Somehow, can you see your name? There we go. Okay.
Yep.
And Rance is joining.
I took a chance last night and had dinner at the bar. So I saw your husband got carry out, Judge.
We did carry out. Okay, I think everybody's here. So I was notified that this was not going to a bench trial. This is in case 2020 CR 42, State of Kansas versus Jace Winder. And so I have it set for a change of plea and sentencing. Is that correct, counsel?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. So for the record, I'm going to have you announce your appearances, please.
Your Honor, may it please the court, State of Kansas appears through Norton County Attorney Missy Schoen.
May it please the court, Your Honor, the defendant Jace Winder appears in person and by his counsel Richard Dietz in Hardman, Osborne, Kansas.
Your Honor, the victim Jay Mulder appears by counsel Rance Ames. Also present in my conference room is Rex's son Jay and his significant other Jessica Ashmore, who was present when the crime occurred.
All right. All right, Ms. Schoen, are you ready to proceed with this?
Your Honor, I am. The state would, though, like to make an oral amendment to count one of the complaint, changing that from domestic battery to just simple battery. That will change the statute to a violation of KSA 21-5413 subsection A, subsection 1, and it still remains a Class B person misdemeanor. The defendant will be pleading guilty or no contest to that amended charge, and then the parties have sentencing recommendations.
So, Mr. Winder, as you heard, the state is amending the original complaint. It's being amended to battery, which doesn't change the severity level, which when you made your first appearance, I advised you that it was a Class B misdemeanor with a maximum fine of $1,000, maximum jail sentence of 6 months. But she did amend the charge from domestic battery to battery. Do you understand that?
Yep.
And I want to make sure that you've had some time to visit with Mr. Dietz about how you're going to plead to this amended charge.
Yeah.
And
We're,
you have plenty of time to do that.
yep.
Okay, can you please tell me how you're going to plead to count the amended count one?
No contest.
So, Mr. Winder, I just want to make sure that you understand what you're doing. So I'm going to be asking you some questions, and then I just need to have you answer those orally so that the record can pick that up. So I'm going to have to find out whether or not you understand that you're waiving some rights, and I'm going to go through those with you. But I have some other questions I'm going to ask you first. And the one I want to make certain is that you answer is, are you presently taking any medications, or are you under the influence of alcohol or drugs that would affect your ability to make important decisions?
Nope.
And do you understand that the court's not required to follow any plea agreement or recommendations that have been made by the state or your attorney in regards to sentencing?
Yep.
Has anybody forced you into entering your plea of no contest?
Nope.
And is your plea being made voluntarily as a result of your own decision?
Yes.
So I want to make sure you understand what rights you're giving up, because it was set for a bench trial and you're going to be giving up certain rights. And I'm just going to go through those, and I'm just going to ask you to answer yes or no if you understand them or not. And if you don't understand, then we're going to take a couple of minutes and get your questions answered. So do you understand that you're giving up your right to a speedy trial?
Yes.
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to a trial by a jury?
Yes.
And do you understand that you're giving up your right against self-incrimination?
Yes.
And do you understand that you're giving up your right to confront witnesses that the state would call?
Yes.
Do you understand that you're giving up your right to subpoena witnesses?
Yep.
Do you understand that there is a presumption of innocence and that the state would have to prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt?
Yes.
Do you understand that by entering your plea of no contest, I will accept the facts as stated by the prosecutor as true, and that you're not contesting any of those facts alleged?
Yes.
And do you understand that that you're giving up your right to appeal the issue of guilt or innocence?
Yes.
And that you're giving up your right to appeal any adverse rulings that may have been made previously by the court?
Yep.
Do you understand that by entering a plea of no contest, you're giving up all those rights I just advised you of?
Yes.
Ms. Shona, will you be offering the probable cause affidavit
Yes, Your Honor.
for the factual findings? Okay. Again, I want to make sure you've had time to visit with Mr. Dietz in regards to your case and your rights. Have you had that chance, and has he explained everything to you so that
Yeah.
you understand?
Yes.
Do you know of any reason why I should not accept your plea of no contest?
Not that I know of.
So the court is going to find that your plea of no contest is knowingly, understandingly, freely, voluntarily, and intellectually made, and that the court finds that the defendant knowingly understands the consequences of his plea. And the court's also finding that there is a factual basis for his plea of no contest. Therefore, Mr. Winder, I'm going to find you guilty of battery, which is in violation of Kansas Statute 215413, subsection A1, and it's a Class B person misdemeanor. I will listen to recommendations by counsel in regards to sentencing, and I'll also allow any statement by the victim as he is present also on this hearing. So Ms. Schoen, I'll begin with you.
Your Honor, the parties have discussed and we would recommend that a fine of $250 be assessed against the defendant. The state would ask that this is a Class B misdemeanor, so he'd be sentenced to 6 months in the county jail, and that 6 months be suspended to 12 months of supervised probation. Have discussed with Mr. Dietz that it's a pretty standard policy, and I wouldn't have any reason to do anything different here. If the defendant has everything paid in full and has had 0 issues while on supervision, I would be agreeable to a release after 6 to 8 months. The defendant will just need to petition my office and the court for that. We've got the fine, so then other fees was required to be assessed. There was restitution request by the defendant of, I believe it was $250. I did not discuss that with Mr. Dietz. And that probation be supervised by court services, if I didn't say that already.
Is Mr. Marble aware of this, of the hearing?
Your Honor, I did not even think about that today. I apologize. And it's my understanding that the defendant will be relocating to, or has already relocated to the Osborne County, Smith County area. So I can also touch base with Ms. Duzine and see how we want to do that intake, since that would be her area.
Okay.
She's on quarantine until Monday, I believe. I can check with her.
Okay.
Your Honor, that is correct. Mr. Winder, he has not moved yet, but he and his wife have purchased a rural dwelling between Osborne and Smith Center, and he will be moving within, I take it, the next few days or a few weeks at least, to the new residence in Smith County. And so we did want to make the court aware of that. He's going to have the same, he's employed by Prairie Land, and he will continue to be employed by Prairie Land, but he will be moved to a position with the workforce in Smith Center.
All right. I always allow the victim to make any statements. I know there was a victim impact statement that was filed. Counsel, did you see that?
I saw the letter that Mr. Ames sent to the county attorney, yes.
Okay. Mr. Ames, will you be addressing the court, or would Mr. Mulder be addressing the court?
Your Honor, I have a couple comments, and then I'll let Mr. Mulder also, if that's okay.
All right.
Judge, you had an opportunity to review the victim impact statement we filed.
Yes.
You read the whole thing?
I did read the whole thing.
Okay, so I don't really want to repeat and belabor everything that's said in here, but this case is one where the attack by the defendant upon Mr. Mulder was completely without cause. He had borrowed property from Mr. Mulder, commonly refused to return that timely. Mr. Mulder simply wanted to get his property back. Mr. Winder is, I don't know, I didn't ask, probably 20 years younger and 50, 100 pounds a bit bigger than Mr. Mulder. He attacked him even though Mr. Mulder made no threat to him. That attack wasn't just one, it had stopped. Rex had tried to walk away and it happened again, and in fact, a third time. If it wouldn't have been for Jessica, Rex's girlfriend, there at the same time, it might have been much worse. Rex immediately went to the emergency room where he had multiple bruises and contusions. I can tell you personally that I saw Rex for weeks after this. He had a huge lump on his head. So everywhere he went, he had to answer questions about the scrapes and bruises on his face. The back injury continued to bother him. He was ultimately requested to get additional treatment at New West Sports Medicine in Kearney. At the second visit there, they did an MRI and confirmed that he had a acute fracture of his L2 in his spine. Mr. Mulder is a farmer. This is a busy time of season, as the court can appreciate. Working with a fracture of your spine was very difficult. You had to get help to help him do that. Some things couldn't be completed that should have been completed, and he still suffers from pain in his back. This is a case where, given the unprovoked nature of the attack, and I think I should add, because it's important, Judge, after this was over, Mr. Winder told Jay Mulder, who's present with us here, that he'd do it again if he was faced with the circumstances. I see Mr. Winder shaking his head, rolling his eyes. That's exactly what happened, Your Honor. And that's one of the problems here. He's failed to show any remorse. He's failed to account for what's occurred. I think under these circumstances, the court should, at a minimum, require him to participate in the batter's intervention program and also get additional anger management counseling. Rex, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, the attack affected more than just the lump on my head. I mean, obviously the back pain was lingering. It affected my family dynamic. It changed everything between my daughter and I, and it affected my ability to trust people. You know, I was in a position where I was trusting him, and it broke trust. So it's affected on many different levels here.
Right? I'm going to be very honest with you. All of you may know this. Mr. Mulder came into my chambers the following day. I will tell you, I noted some physical injuries, of course. I also noted a lot of confusion. He didn't seem to know why he was there. He had, I'm guessing, concussion at that point that was messing with his ability to think and to just to communicate with me. He asked that he filled out, I believe he took the petition for protection from abuse and took it with him and brought it back later and filed that. But the clerks of the court were very concerned about his ability to process the information that they were giving him. I had some concern about his ability to just to be able to get around. I was concerned about his ability to drive. I didn't know how he had gotten here to the courthouse. I didn't have a lot of information. But I will tell you, when I saw him that day, he was pretty beat up. And I don't know the relationship between the two parties. I don't even know the two parties. But I was very, very concerned about Mr. Mulder' medical condition. I'm going to tell you, I usually follow the recommendations of a plea agreement, but I am going to make some modifications to it.
Hey, ma'am, can I say something?
Mr. Dietz, do you want him to?
Yes, I'm going to allow him to, Judge.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Winder.
My daughter was about to have open heart surgery. She hadn't had surgery yet. And I came home to get some clothing, and I needed to build a dog pen, which is why I borrowed the pickup. I should have asked. I didn't. And I was not in the right state of mind at all. I just got told by a doctor that my daughter might not make it through the surgery. That's the only reason I was home. And, I never dreamed that my father-in-law would be mad about me borrowing his pickup. I guess I should have asked. And it was, I fed cows with that pickup quite a bit in the winter. I didn't think it was a big deal for me to borrow that pickup. It had a trailer hooked onto it already, so I didn't even have to do that. Like, I should have called. Like, I should have absolutely called. And I shouldn't have done it at all. I was not in the right state of mind. And we're moving to Smith Center just to get away from this whole situation. And, my wife's been depressed, and I'm just, I never wanted this to happen. And so there's a lot more to the story. I don't want to really get that involved in it, but that would never have happened on any other day. I've never had to deal with the first child, and she had to have open heart. That was 3 days before she had open heart surgery is when I went home to get some things. And so, I do have remorse. Like, I never said I didn't, but I shouldn't have done it. I can't take it back now. So that's why we're moving. And I just wanted you to know that, I guess.
Thank you. Ms. Schoen, when did you say Ms. Dezine gets out of quarantine?
I think she's back on Monday. And I have a email ready to go to her and Bryce that says, I forgot to let them know, and I was going to wait until I had the journal entry done to attach that. And I've got you and Mr. Dietz copied on that email as well.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to sentence Mr. Winder to 6 months in the county jail and suspend that to 12 months of supervision. Ms. Schoen, do you know Ms. Dezine's phone number? I kind of like to set a deadline for him to contact her.
And we can have him contact Bryce since he's in Norton, and then they can figure out what to do with how to do that. That's fine by me. And I can let Bryce know that he'll be contacting Bryce, and then since he's in.
To schedule his intake. Okay, so I'm going to give you, if you will put that journal entry or that phone number in the journal entry so that he can do that. But I would like for him to call and schedule a time for the intake, and they may have him report to Phillipsburg.
Right.
I don't know. But if you would put court services number in there for him to call. And I'd like for him to touch base with court services by 5 o'clock on Monday. Which would be the 23rd. I'm going to assess the $250 fine. The court cost of $158, the restitution of $250. I don't have anything back in my file showing if Mr. Mulder was processed. Did you report to get processed, or not Mulder, Mr. Winder?
I'm not sure.
Fingerprinted?
Let me grab his file.
I don't
Well,
show.
Your Honor, as I recall, I believe, and Jace, you can confirm this, that you reported and they said they weren't going to do anything at that time. Wasn't there some contact that you made?
I went there 2 or 3 times. I did finally, I got fingerprinted. So
You did? Okay.
yeah, they must have done it.
I think Ms. Schoen's going to look, but there is a processing fee of $45.
Yes, he was booked and processed. I have that fingerprint sheet.
Thank you. The last thing I think that is really important, and I know the charge has been amended, and I also am very aware that with domestic violence cases, there is a requirement that an evaluation be completed. I am really concerned about the severity of the offense, the severity of the beating that Mr. Mulder took. I think it's important that there be an evaluation here, and that whatever those recommendations are, that those recommendations have to be followed. I would order that you get the batter's intervention evaluation. They're going to make the determination as to whether or not you need additional counseling services, whether it's anger management, or if you have to participate in their program. Whatever those recommendations are, that's what needs to be followed. They may even state that they don't see a need for any additional services, but they're the professionals on it. And I respect what they have provided to the court in the past. And I think in this situation, it would be very valuable. That way, if there are issues that they believe there, then it can be addressed with additional services. So I am going to order that evaluation.
Judge, will that be through High Plains? Do they have that service?
The last time I knew, I can get the contact information for you.
If you could, please.
Yeah, the last time I knew, the evaluations were being held in Colby or Hayes. But I'm not sure if that's changed. It's
Bryce
there.
will have that information too, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
Excuse
Bryce
me.
will have all that information.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
Lisa.
Or Lisa. Okay. So they'll know the resource to connect with in order to get that evaluation completed.
Your Honor, can I make a comment on that?
Yes.
Can we make it a part of the journal entry that the victim impact statement be provided to whoever's doing the evaluation?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I am fine with that.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Schoen, do you have any objection to it?
No, Your Honor.
Court services will also have that information, and they can attach it with the referral that will be completed. Okay. Anything else, counsel?
Your Honor, did you assess
No.
restitution?
Yes,
And
did.
I guess Rex, I'll be putting that in the journal entry. Where does that need to be sent?
we have to provide the clerks with an address.
Just for convenience, it can be payable to Rex, but sent to my office.
Okay.
Payable to Rex and sent to your office. Okay.
Yes,
I'll
please.
take care of that directly with you, Jace.
Okay.
All right. Anything else, council?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Schoen, anything else?
Don't believe so. I will send this proposed journal entry to Mr. Dietz and attach the draft to the email to Lisa and Bryce.
Okay. All right. Thank you.